Three. We are recording. Yep, we are rolling.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to Hell in a Handbasket. I'm None Your Business with my partner in crime, Bradley For Real.
For
Now,
real.
I got a treat for you guys today because Bradley and I just met and we were going to do a show on a particular topic, but after however, after today's press conference with Trump and Zelensky, we quickly threw that out the window because
how does this keep happening to us? Like we want to talk about something and it's just like bam, the news. It just comes from this guy.
It comes fast and furious. Now here's the real treat, though. Bradley hasn't seen it yet, so what we decided to do. We're going to do a watch along and analysis. Because I want to get his real-time reaction to this train wreck that happened today. So, by the way, what are we on now? Is this 15 or 4? Oh, for Christ's sake. What are we on, 15?
Let's take a look.
I think we're 15. Yes, welcome to episode 15, I think. Anyway.
I'm not going to say anything. I have like my track record is so bad. I'm more likely I've been more wrong than correct. Okay,
so we're going to get this young gentleman's reaction to it in real time as we go along.
Let's do it. Okay.
Oh, to set the context, because sometimes we assume that we all know what's happening, and if maybe you're just stumbling across this on YouTube, President Zelensky came to the White House today to meet with President Trump. And the idea was to sign the minerals deal with Ukraine that has been in the works for some time. Now, this is a controversial deal for the people in Ukraine, and it's getting a lot of press. But the understanding was, at least as of yesterday, that some sort of arrangement had been made, and Zelensky was flying to discuss, sign the deal, have a press conference. So this is the press conference as it happened. Let her rip.
Running low on soldiers, it would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what,
that wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards.
Okay, let's just fast forward this a little bit, because I think this is actually comes later on. In
no, I really want to listen to this.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's just run it then.
You can speed it up.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the fire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton.
Oh, man. Zelensky's sitting right there.
Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war.
Christ.
And he went through it.
This is insane. Why did it stop?
He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said,
gosh.
Poor
Zelensky.
The laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The
whole
thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of
Oh,
all
man.
that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me.
Oh, you're muted, bro. I can't hear you.
I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. What's funny about this, though, he's letting all of this out of the bag on live TV. Now, keep in mind, you and I know about.
I'm so shocked.
You and I know about what he's talking about. What Trump is referring to is Russiagate, as well as the 51 former FBI,
The Hunter Biden laptop scandal, about that came out and says also all the hallmarks of Russian, all blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Now, but Zelensky, he knows Zelensky played a role in that. Zelensky,
of course. But the thing about it is, that was so underreported in America. I'm guessing a lot of people, they're going to dig into this more now, and they're going to figure out, oh, well, what was Trump actually talking about? I fully expect to hear a lot more about that in the media in the coming weeks, because I think people are going to be wondering what's going on. Anyway.
I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And
look at Zelensky's mortified. Look at his face.
And if we're out,
he's being yelled at.
You'll fight it out. I don't
he's being
think
scolded.
It's gonna be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position.
Oh my gosh.
But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh?
Poor
This is
Zelensky.
great television, I will say that.
Poor
We'll
Zelensky.
see what we can do about putting it together.
He's ruffle stomping him.
Now,
We'll see. I don't know.
Zelensky's being ruffle stomped. It's over.
well, this is the reason I wanted to fast forward. This is actually the end of the press conference. Like, I think they're going to repeat this at the end, but this was kind of the climax of the whole thing. So it's cool that we're going to see it again, but I just want to set the table. If you're kind of confused now of like why we jumping into this big argument, you'll see this is the end of, a half an hour of buildup that we're going to get to.
All right. This is Deutsche Welles. Like, freaking. These people are mortified. Zelensky's horrified. This is the end. Or Zelensky.
This is the end. All right, let's.
Okay, I guess let's skip ahead.
Had
All right,
the
here we go.
negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in and digging and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's something that you want and that he wants. We have to negotiate a deal, but we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. They're losing thousands of soldiers. On both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop, and we want to see the money get put to different kinds of use, like rebuilding. And we're going to be working very hard, but we've had a lot of very good conversations. I will say until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody. They just allowed this to continue. And I will say that, I'll say in front of you, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, if I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you without having to go through what you've gone through. But your soldiers have been unbelievably brave. We've given them great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment. They've been unbelievably brave. and we give him great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself in the sense that it's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters, and you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So
You must be very proud of all the death, but it was all for nothing because we're just going to shut it down. That's what he just told to the president of Ukraine, right?
Just look at Zelensky's face through this whole thing. I feel like this is a lot of people. A lot of people were waiting for this moment to be like, I wish I could be the fly on the wall to see Zelensky's face when he has to hear this, and we get to see it. I don't know. I feel bad, honestly. This looks horrifying to be him. He looks like he's mortified.
Yeah, I'm not going to shed a tear for Zelensky. He could have ended this 3 years ago and saved a lot of lives. Instead,
He was a fool.
Well, he wanted to build a few more mansions and enrich himself some more. That's what this all is about. It's all about grift and keeping it going.
I don't know, dude. I think that's the deal that they make, where they plata o plomo, right, or whatever. Okay, like the lead or money, you know, or gold or whatever. Like, what do you choose? Like, this is gonna get done. You're either gonna go along with it and become very wealthy, or you're just gonna die. That's your options.
Sure, but I'm guessing he was very corrupt before this, and I'm guessing he was pretty rich before it. You know, like how much money does a person need? You know, at the end of the day, they had a deal on the table. They walked away from it. He's been a willing puppet for America and Europe for the last 3 years, and now it looks like the plug is being pulled on it. They don't like it, obviously, because they know they got played. And
well, he got completely played, dude. We
Sure.
threw him under the. I always said this would happen. We threw him under the bus. We threw him under the bus, dude. He is the fall kid. We're watching the scapegoat right now. All right, let's keep going. Got a ways to go.
It's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement.
I'm going to say some nice things about you, Zelensky, but then I'm going to chew you out.
In a little while, right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things. And we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when they stop the shooting and we end up with a deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that. And an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for your invitation. And really, I hope that this first document will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course, the infrastructure or security guarantees. Because for today, I understand what Europe is ready to do. And of course, I want to discuss with you what United States will be ready to do. And I really count on your strong position to stop Putin. And you said that enough with the war. I think that is very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning of war, because he is a killer and terrorist. But I hope that together we can stop him. But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values, our freedom and democracy, and of course,
keep talking.
Our yachts. Need to protect our yacht.
Our democracy.
What I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course we need very much the air defense. You have the best air defense in the world, and really you helped us under attacks of Russians, and I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to.
Oh, you idiot!
With you, of course, with the United States.
They're going to exchange licenses of your
air defense, even after the war.
Homemade drones.
What we're
You're gonna do that, and you're gonna trade your homemade drone licenses for freaking America's a Patriot air defense system, like a license to produce that. To oh my god, you
This is your
fools!
classic. It's your classic. I'm about to be executed, so I'm begging for my life and trying to negotiate whatever I can.
Well, the first thing he
You know,
does, notice the first thing he says is security guarantees.
well, let's talk about these security guarantees for a second. So clearly, Trump and Zelensky have very different definitions of what a security guarantee is.
Oh yeah.
Trump just wants to sign the deal. Trump has no plan on honoring any security deal. What Trump is saying to Zelensky is, and this is Trump's whacked out logic too, right? Trump seems to think that we're going to sign this minerals deal with Zelensky in Ukraine, and therefore Russia won't touch those areas because we've got interest there. This is what Trump thinks, and this is what he's trying to sell to Zelensky. But
Well,
Zelensky is saying, well, no, we actually need weapons, and so
I think
their
you're
whole
right.
idea of what security guarantees are completely different.
So I think you're right. But I think that you're putting it more cynically. I think Trump is like saying, "Here's your security guarantee. If we're getting 50% of that, we're going to be interested in protecting our investment. What the other 50% is yours. That's your security guarantee." And what maybe the deal he makes with the Russians is like, "Listen, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna give you this. You're gonna give us that." I mean, what if they say, "Listen, we're just gonna pull the Ukrainians out of Kursk and do all of and give you the 4 oblasts that you guys annexed, in exchange for you just don't mess with us as we're trying to exploit, this, I don't know, gallium or whatever the hell it is, in there."
Yeah, I don't see that. Like Russia's going to do what Russia's going to do, right? They've got a plan. They're going to achieve the plan, and
We'll
you know,
see. I
yeah,
feel like
no,
they're ready to negotiate. I think, like Trump is saying,
well, not
they
no,
go. They got.
no, no,
He
no, no.
thinks he can get it to stop.
No, he thinks, but his belief and what the Russians believe are completely different things.
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, the Russians are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to take what they're going to take.
Okay.
And I think that Trump knows that because he knows that they don't have any leverage over the Russians now. He realizes that now. So what Trump is trying to do is get this minerals deal for the future, right? So whatever's left of Ukraine, they're just going to come in and take all that, and they're going to wave this piece of paper and say, "Yeah, we've signed this deal with Ukraine." I don't think Trump and gang are under any illusions that they're going to get anything in those oblasts unless they make a legitimate deal to develop those resources with Russia. And that'll be like a separate deal altogether with Russia and Russian companies, and people will come in and they'll
So
do
that's
what.
a little bit of what I'm saying, where like he just finds a way to, by hook or by crook, to say this is your security guarantee. We're getting liquefied natural gas from Crimea, passing it through Ukraine, getting a chunk of the profits from the pipeline, like good old times. We totally Crimea. Oh, that's beyond debate. That's yours. All of this is,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't see that. I don't. I only see Russia making a deal with the Americans if it's in their best. Like they don't need to make a deal with the Americans. That's the point. So
I think they want to stop the nonsense. I don't think they would love to have some kind of
yeah,
normal adult ass
but
diplomacy,
Brad,
stop the nonsense, have some kind of
I know
detente-ish.
you're not listening to me. There's companies who make deals and negotiate deals on development, and there are governments that make deals. What I'm saying is Putin and Trump can come up with an arrangement and they can say, okay, we're going to allow each other's companies to come in and make deals. But what I'm saying is at the end of the day, the actual deals will be negotiated with those companies, and there's going to be puts and takes or whatever, who knows, right? But what I'm saying is the actual leverage for an American company to come in, they don't really have any leverage because Russia doesn't need them. right?
Yes,
So
but that's their security guarantee, number one, and number two for the
they
Russians.
don't need a security guarantee for the Americans. They can defeat the Americans, and they know that now, right?
No, yeah, I get that. I'm saying that this is Trump's idea of a
No,
security guarantee.
we're saying the same thing. Like we're in violent disagreement with each other here. We're both saying the same thing. This is what Trump thinks, but what I'm saying is what the Russians think
Well,
is
right.
completely different.
And think about this and where Trump's position is. Maybe you're right that Trump knows. I don't know. I feel like he's probably somewhere. I think he's kind of saying what he thinks in a way, right? I think he's got a little bit more leverage than he actually does. Think about how far away Zelensky is from the Russians, right? And how far away he is from Trump, and then how far away Trump is from the Russians. Trump is like a midpoint that's kind of closer to Zelensky in a lot of ways, you know. And Zelensky can't even swallow what's going on with Trump. He's like, no, I don't want those security guarantees. The kind of security guarantees that I want includes technology transfers. Are you nuts, Zelensky? What the heck? Are you snorting? I don't know, but that is delusional.
Well, I think with Trump too, like this is bigger than Ukraine. I said this before. I said this last time we chatted. Like the whole discussion between Trump and Putin, it's much bigger than Ukraine. Like they want to do trade with Russia. They want to do development with Russia, all that stuff that we just talked about. And Putin would certainly be open to that, right? But again, that would be deals that are negotiated between Russia, between the US, really have nothing to do with Ukraine, right? And that's my point. Like, I think that Trump has given, like, clearly, I mean, we're watching it in real time, right? Trump has clearly given up on Ukraine. There's no question about that now. He's washed his hands of it.
Yeah. His policy position is I'm dumping Ukraine. I am doing this thing. Actually, the debate is not if I'm dumping Ukraine. The debate is you are going to give me something to recoup my losses in Ukraine. That's where he's at. He's at, no, I'm making the deal. You want security guarantees? Fine. Here, I own 50% of the stuff. That's a security guarantee. Maybe I'll make a deal with the Russians and they're going to be, helping me how to figure out how to exploit this. It's going to be a Russian company that owns this, or maybe a Ukrainian company that is majority owned by Gazprom or whatever it is, whatever, he's on a different level. He's on the level of, I'm going to get my losses before Europeans do. And Zelensky's saying, we're working with the Europeans. We're hoping the Americans can be part of this process. I don't know.
Well, Trump, I mean, you're right. He's clearly moved on. He's kind of like, how do I get out of this mess that I inherited? And how do I, more importantly, salvage the economic, future of America? Because keep in mind, there's a lot of stuff going on in the economic sphere. U.S. economy is tanking right now. Like it is cratering. And Trump knows that. So he's probably much more worried about that stuff than he is Ukraine, for sure.
Think about that's what Ukraine was really always all about. Donald Trump is saying it in an open way, right? If Ukraine was always all about us getting our hands on Ukraine stuff, BlackRock and whatever, and then selling that to the Europeans for whatever price we want to, And now Trump's just saying, listen, we're going to recoup our losses. It just reminds me of we got the oil thing. Anyway, let's continue.
I don't even think he's trying to do that, to be honest. I think I think I said this before on the open mic. If he can get the Ukrainians to sign some piece of paper, great. But I don't think, but if they don't, I don't think he cares either way, because this will justify the Americans pulling out, because Trump is just going to say, look at this. These guys are not serious about peace. The guy, he's a warmonger. The Europeans are warmongers.
Dude, I got so many thoughts on that, but I guess I'll talk about it later. I'm not going to get through this. But yeah, I agree with you. I think you're right on.
And of course, about this, I want to speak about the contingents. I think that France and UK already spoke to you, and we know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will not be ready to be as strong as we need. And the last point, last not least,
As we need. I tell you what you need, bitch.
people and children. And you know that these crazy Russians, that they stolen 20,000 of children.
Crazy Russians.
They changed their
20,000 of children?
They changed their,
Like,
their
nobody
families,
believes this guy.
relatives, and now they're in Russia. We want to bring them back. And really, it's a big dream, task, and goal for me.
Dream.
And our warriors. By the way, Mr. President, we exchanged, released more than 4,000 warriors from Russia.
Just really quickly on this point about the 20,000 children. Yeah, the Russians saved the lives of 20,000 freaking children, pulled them out of freaking war zones. You are welcome. Think about if the Russians are there to pull the children out. That means the war zone already moved to the point where the Russians are there. Duh. Why are the children there, you moron? So you know what? They saved the lives of 20,000 children. And now you're like, yeah, you know what? Ukraine's kind of screwed demographically. We're kind of fucked. Not only that, but everybody that's like alive has brain damage. What are we going to do? You know, it'd be great if we had like an influx of 20,000 normal children that already speak the language, you know, that could come here and actually, I don't know. I don't think so.
Ideally, some children roughly around the age of 18, preferably.
Oh my gosh. I wasn't even thinking that, but yeah, maybe they're that cynical. I don't know. I think they literally they're thinking about what are we going to do to save Ukraine? Like, we got to take these kids, got to brainwash them back into our brain, you know, because that's why they're so upset. Because like, no. Okay. Anyway, let's continue.
In prison, but there are thousands more in the prison. I wanted to share with you some images. How it's. I've just can I now?
Yeah,
Have I?
please.
Oh my gosh.
1 minute. Just you to understand
Go ahead.
In what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what the attitude of Russia to our prisoners. That guys, just you before and after. And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys, ladies and men, there.
Why aren't you kind of showing it to the camera?
So they don't eat, they beat them, and
they do.
You know.
Well, you know, I'm sure there are tons of hungry Ukrainian soldiers.
Even during the
right?
war, there are rules.
Well, yeah. I mean, plus, this is what I always say: wartime makes for war crime. It's going to happen. Like, you have a war, there's going to be war crime. Somebody's going to be like, this expletive person killed somebody. You know, there's no way I'm going to take any of those guys over their prisoner. And then you come there and and then you kill them all, and it's on camera. There's going to be instances of something going on like this, right? Or maybe this is a time-sensitive thing. There's
nothing wrong with those guys. Like, he's showing pictures of some guys who are slim, and he's saying, "Well, the Russians are starving them to death."
Whatever. They're mistreating them. He's saying, but whatever, dude. Guess what? It's just going to happen.
That
Anyway.
could be just they're out on the front line starving to death, like every soldier in every war in history. Yeah. I don't think you'll ever find a soldier who said, "Oh yeah, the front line were really well fed, everything's great." You know.
Yeah, we never have a problem with eating. Yeah, all of our nutritional needs are met. Okay.
Rules during the war. So these guys, they don't have any rules. You see that?
Any rules.
And you can tell Trump doesn't care. He's just like,
he's like, yeah.
What the changes
with
images of children. I will share with you.
Images of children. Okay, well, yeah. All right, let's take a look at the children. Okay, yep. Yes, tough stuff. Zelensky's like, oh, thank God.
By the way, they stole
I have props.
Because it's not Russian church. They stolen pastors.
Well, he's a prop comedian, you know.
Yeah, right. You can totally tell he's in his element right now.
We could exchange that. And this is pastor, you see.
Yeah, it's tough.
Watch Donald Trump's about to dude, I can't believe I'm watching this.
We want to get that ended, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man.
And I think we will. And
we have to, of course.
Do you have any questions, please?
Yeah.
Mr. President, with the how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today, and how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking
Raw earth.
sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money
Look
will
at
be
Zelensky.
made from the sale
Oh, man, look
and
at his
from the
face.
use of raw earth. And as you know,
Raw
our country
earth.
doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas,
New Yorker,
but we don't have
raw earth,
the raw earth.
raw earth.
What we do
Rare,
have is protected
rare.
by the environmentalists,
I mean-
but that can be unprotected. But still, it's not very much.
No, it's raw, like ROA, raw earth, raw earth.
They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're
Raw earth.
going to be using that, using it for all of the things we do, including.
Yeah, then instead of going raw earth, he's going raw earth.
Well, the funny thing
Raw
that
earth.
he said, and you saw Zelensky's body language when he said it. The question was, how much are you guys actually going to give? And the answer is, well, nothing. We're going to create
Recoup
this fund
on raw earth, on raw earth.
on these
Raw
rare
earth.
earth minerals for this
Raw
production
earth.
line that doesn't exist and will take years, if not decades, to set up. But yeah, like this is all just such fantasy and pipe dream. And Zelensky knows that, right? Zelensky is hoping.
No,
for
he
a
doesn't.
full
I think
hard
Zelensky is shocked. I think Zelensky does not know what to do right now. I think he did not expect
Oh
this.
yeah, totally. He's just like crap.
AI, and including weapons and the military, and it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So it's something that just works
Satisfy
out really well. We have a lot of oil, and we have a lot of gas, we have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this
Raw earth.
has just
Yeah.
about every component
Rare.
of the raw earth that we
It's a-
need
Rare.
for computers, for all of the things we do.
And
This
on
puts us in great shape.
And on long-term security for Ukraine. How is this provided?
I think they're going to
Long-term security.
Great luck. I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin, and I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it, and we'll make a deal. And when the deal is made, I don't think. We talk about security. Everyone's talking about the other day. All they talked about was security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now. We have to have a deal because right now, last week, 2,000 soldiers died on both sides. 2,000, and they're losing.
In other words, shut up about security. That's what that means.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting shot and dying on the battlefield. And, you know, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it. And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to, this is a tremendous amount of money. And what the Biden administration did was terrible. They were giving money, but they had no security on the money. Europe, as you know, gave much less money, but they had security. It was in the form of a loan. They get their money back, and we didn't. And now, at least we're protected because the American taxpayer has to be protected too. But this is an incredible agreement for Ukraine because we have a big investment in their country now, and what they have, very few people have. And we're able to really go forward with very, very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country. This allows us to do that.
I love how he's just like, yeah, the thing about rare earth mining is the reason why it's not done in a lot of places is because it's so destructive, right? You're literally just strip mining like the entire place and you're just tearing it up. It's an environmental disaster. That's why it's all done in China. And I love how he's just so flippant nonchalant. Yeah, we're just going to go in. We're just going to level the place. It's all good for these raw earths. Meanwhile, Zelensky's like a foot away.
Yes, go ahead, please.
If I can just, yes. In the document, there is one of the very important points if we speak about business and investment. We never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document will open. I mean, the next document, but anyway, here we see in the framework, we see a really goodwill for this. LNG terminals for us is very important, and I think for security of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest in Europe. Yes, and we can use it. Use it for LNG. Use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they made less support, but they are our friends and they are our very supportive partners. They really gave a lot, Mr. President. They did.
They gave a lot, but
You got to give more.
No.
much less.
No. No.
Much less.
Okay.
Right. Oh man.
Mr. President Trump, you have repeatedly called the deal with Ukraine as a historical one. And as a president of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So what place in the world history do you want to take? And do you associate yourself with any famous historical figures?
What a stupid question.
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln.
Why would you ask that question at this point? Right? Like,
I'll tell you why. He's trying to say, watch.
They're going to go wild. They're going to say,
He's trying to say, Donald Trump, what you're doing right now, think about your legacy. Who are you going to be seen as?
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And Trump is, totally Washington. No question about it. Lincoln.
Exactly. Donald Trump's like,
totally. I'm Washington.
I got that card. Do not worry. I am a great freaking president. Don't even try to pull that on me.
I'll be number 5 up on Rushmore. We'll get it built. Not a problem. Like, I love.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. So the reporter was trying to frame it in such a way that think about your legacy.
Yeah.
And Trump is just so arrogant about himself. He's just like, oh yeah.
I don't think you think he's arrogant. I think he knows what it is. I think this is a technique and a tactic that he uses all the time himself. This is a the classic hey, there's 2 kinds of people in the world, there's doers and then there's bitches, And what kind of a president are you? Kind of like, it's kind of doing one of those, right? So basically what he's trying to do is he's trying to frame it as like, well, I mean, if you think about like, there's 2 kinds of presidents, great presidents and not great presidents. So like, let's think about how this is going to affect that. And Donald Trump is having none of it. Donald Trump is saying, shut up. I'm not even going to, I am saying right now, I am great. It's like him saying, there's no problem with that. My hands are big. There's absolutely no problems with that. You guys can be rest assured. This is what he's doing. And he's like, let's move on. It's actually great. Good.
No, you're right. And you noticed there last week, they were trying to paint him with the Neville Chamberlain brush. Right.
Yeah,
and Trump you're right. Trump should just say, if that question comes up again, what will people say? They're comparing you to Neville Chamberlain. Well, Neville Chamberlain was a great prime minister. He tried to get Britain out of the war. Britain couldn't fight Germany. They got killed. They got run out. Yep. Thank God, America.
He doesn't even have to do that, dude. It's Trump. He could just be like, actually, I am more like Abraham Lincoln or George Washington. He could just do that and just be like, George Washington, saved America from the tyranny of the burden of taxation without representation. And President Zelensky, he's been really dumb. He's been so dumb, and it's time for us to get back the taxation without for whatever, some representation taxation BS metaphor that doesn't even have to make sense.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's not playing the game of the reporter. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right, let's see.
He considers himself to be better than Washington, but you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here today. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month.
I'm just saying, it's
we've accomplished tremendous amounts.
only a month.
This would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know, but I think we've done a very good job, just generally. If you look at all of the things we've done in 30 days, they're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month, there's never
He
been
redirects the conversation to how great is
And this is
Trump.
one of the very important things. This, to me, is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking
Look at him
place
shake
as we
his head.
speak,
Did you
and
see that?
I don't
He's
wanna-
like, what is happening right now?
Did
What-
you see
what-
him shaking his head as he was like,
Yeah, he's
watching
like-
his body language? He's
Yeah, yeah.
getting progressively more angry.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Whether
He's
they're in Russia
he's
or
mortified.
Ukraine, think of the parents of all these people being killed needlessly.
They came to our territory.
Should have
See?
never started. This would have, if I were president, this would have never
Rolling
started.
his eyes.
Will you continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signs this agreement with Ukraine?
Yeah, we're
And the
gonna be
question to
continuing.
President Zelensky, do you feel like the U.S. is on your side, that that President Trump is on your side at this moment?
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question. I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that United States President will not stop support. This is crucial for us. It's important for us. Yes. And Putin, President speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this war, and they have to stop. And I think this is the question with really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, our enemy, withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history, I think that if President or when he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall. I think.
We've had very, very good talks.
Military aid to Ukraine.
President Zelensky just said that there will be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you. Firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelensky is going to have to make? And President Zelensky, is there anything that you might think you may be able to offer or bring to the table, for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So certainly he's going to have to make some compromises. Hopefully they won't be as big as some people think you're going to have to make.
Oh, there's going to be
That's all
compromises.
we can
President
do. I'm here
Zelensky,
as
get ready to make some
as an arbitrator,
compromises.
as a mediator to a certain extent between two parties that have been very hostile. To put it mildly, they've been very hostile. There's been a vicious war. There's been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and those bullets go out, and as I've said many times, we were talking about it with Pete, many times the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets. It's dead level. That's why it's great farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are being, and other things that are being shot. So all I can do is see if I can get everybody at the table and get an agreement. And I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
Mr. President, I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately your legacy will be the peacemaker and not the president that led this country into another war and ended foreign wars? And I've got a question.
I hope it will. I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this to save lives more than anything else. Second is to save a lot of money, but I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question.
Right back to the. They did try to do the same thing. He did this. He just shat on it a second time.
This is a very dangerous situation. You know, this could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction.
Thank you for that
This
question.
election
Yes, I did save the
lost,
world
and we
again.
didn't
You're
win this
right.
election, and we won it by a lot. That was a mandate. We won every swing state.
As you can see, I mean, everybody loves me.
Millions and millions
I mean,
of
what
votes.
with
We
me
won
saving the world and everything.
the districts. You look at the areas of red. Take a look at a map.
Am I a
This
man
was
of
the
peace?
mandate, and,
Let's take a look
this
at
is
how many
one of the
people
things
voted
that-
for me, first of all.
But yeah, but back to the election.
settled. If we didn't win, I think this would.
Second of all,
this could have very
I'm a
well ended
winner.
up in
Am I a
third
man
world
of peace?
war, and that
I'm a
would
man of
not-
winning.
That would not have been a good situation. What was
Number
the second
3.
Wait, my second question.
Number what was yours asking?
Zelensky, do you ever, why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest, why don't you wear a suit?
Hey.
You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you, do you own a suit?
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting
I
the
don't have
dignity of this
such-
office.
I will wear a
Ooh.
costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something like
maybe
this.
something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than yeah.
Thank you.
See, this is the thing about Zelensky and Trump. It's like they're both narcissists, but this is why they had this fight in the first place. They had this fight over whatever, was it Twitter or what, or some statements where where Donald Trump is like, oh yeah, but he's a dictator with no elections. He really got under Zelensky's skin. Zelensky wanted to get back at him, and he just to soothe his ego injury. And you don't want to do this with Trump, because Trump understands what his leverage is, what kind of power he has. That's what he's excellent at. This he's naturally gifted because he's a narcissist. So he already knows, like, oh, I am going to squeeze you like a mother pimple. You are so, and like, this is what he's doing. He waited for this press conference to humiliate him. He's humiliating him in public, and he's expertly deflecting these, because they can't even. They can ask him questions about whatever it is. He's going to deflect it to, I'm awesome, I'm perfect, and yes, am I a man of peace? Am I a man of peace? Let me just talk about me winning the election, first of all. Second of all, I also stopped World War III, and so yeah, am I a man of peace? I guess that's up for the voters to decide by voting for me in such an overwhelming way.
Well,
like
that question though, like, a lot of people got a laugh out of it because the reporter is like, why didn't you show up to wear a suit? But I think there's more to it than that. And that's why Zelensky is so pissed off. You look at his face right now. He is seething at that question and that reporter. But my understanding was, like, apparently a lot of Americans have got a problem with this guy showing up, begging for money, wearing, sweats. And
well, I think because it's the White House, you have to be
right.
That's
now my understanding was Trump made it known that it was encouraged that Zelensky show up looking the part, and the fact that he didn't speaks volumes, because that's disrespectful to Trump. And I think that's why the reporter asked the question, and I think that's why he's so angry about it. But anyway, let's keep going.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have.
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine. Yeah, sure. Hopefully, I won't have to send very much, because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly.
Now, just to clarify that point, there's no new arms going to Ukraine. What he's talking about here is that flow through that Biden authorized right before they kicked him out of office, the $8 billion. That's still all flowing through to Ukraine. It's in various, it's in transit, right? It's in Europe, it's whatever. That stuff is still going to flow through because it's too late now. I guarantee you're not going to see another dime of funding approved.
We're not looking forward to.
So Trump is being cute.
We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement, because we needed what they had, and we're treating, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, sure, the answer is yes, but hopefully we won't have to send much, because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that mean you'll provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet because I want to get the deal done. You know, you fall into the same trap like everybody else. A million times you say it over and over. I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy.
He's doing the trick in reverse. He's doing their exactly trick on him. He's saying, basically, just like everybody else, I kind of would have expected you would have been a little bit smarter, but I guess, what do I expect? You're just like everybody else, and I have to explain this to you because just like children, no, I'm not answering your goddamn question. Shut up. We're moving on. I'm doing my deal, and I'm not answering it. Do you understand me? He's doing their trick.
That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried about getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stopped shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know France is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably. We have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country.
What did I say?
So in that sense, you have something, but we haven't determined that yet. I will say, in speaking to France and in speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day, they have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over. Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, thank you. You had Mr. Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though, re-engaging Russia in diplomatic relations, something that previous leaders lacked the conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Look at Zelensky.
One American News does a great job.
Look at his face.
Wait, what's this? Where is he from?
Very good question. It's a pathway.
Some right-wing rag.
Fuck, I wish I knew heard the outlet. Whatever.
It's a pathway to getting something solved.
Let me hear it actually.
Peace. Pathway to peace. Well, that's why I like him. One American News does a great job.
One American News. Okay.
I think it's
Oh
a
my
good
gosh.
question.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a pathway
Just
to
a
peace.
regular right-wing rag.
It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus, we're very much involved. We got involved. It's too bad we got involved because there should have been no involvement because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money to give to Hamas.
Look at Zelensky.
They were stone cold broke. And then under Biden, they became rich as hell. They went from no money to $300 billion.
So this is what he's doing. He's saying, in fact, you're so irrelevant to me, Zelensky. I'm so done with Ukraine. I'm a man. I'm such a man of peace and vision. I'm such a great president. In fact, even under me, October 7th didn't happen. Let's talk a little bit about the real problem that we really care about, because it's not you,
Yeah.
Oh man, Zelensky's like mortified. He's like, I hate this. I hate my life right now.
Yes.
In a period of 4 years, and they gave a lot of that money away, and you see what happened, and that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no, I appreciate your question very much. I feel I have an obligation to try and do something to stop the death.
He's like Gandhi. That's like Gandhi.
He's just a man of the time that,
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Even though I think he's a great guy, by the way.
Donald Trump is
I
just.
don't know if you two like each other, but you know what? I think he's dressed.
I like this guy.
I think he's dressed beautiful.
So I have more serious things than answer.
No.
I will answer on more serious questions.
Patronizing.
Yeah, so please.
They think you look ugly, but I like you.
Ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will never work, because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency, from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times.
No, he didn't.
25 times. He broken his own signature. 25 times he broke a ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke to me.
No, you were the president. You were the president during.
He never broke to me.
In 2016, you've been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had, of course, not with you, but he had during those periods, he had conversations with our side. And we had Normandy format, you know, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broken 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees.
So what this clown is talking about is Minsk 1 and Minsk 2. And as best as I'm aware, Russia never violated that. But what did happen was Ukraine violated it a whole lot of times.
What he's saying, yes, you're exactly right. But what he's actually saying is, this is your fault. Because Normandy format, United States was not part of it. Normandy format was Ukraine, France, Germany, Russia, and the Donbass separatist republics.
Right.
And, or maybe the Donbass separatist republics was not. That was already Minsk when they were doing Minsk. But that's what they came up with, Minsk, right? And the thing about the Normandy format is the British and the Americans were not in it. And so the Americans came in and they basically took the results of this Normandy format, this Minsk agreement, and they're the ones that told the Ukrainians not to do it. So what Zelensky's saying is like, if it wasn't for you guys, under the Normandy format, we had a solution. This is partly your reason in the first place. And he's like, of course, it's not necessarily your fault, Donald Trump, but it did happen in 2016, right? So he's trying to basically say, this is on you too. Let's see how Donald Trump reacts to that.
Well, and just to be clear too, both Angela Merkel and Francois Hollande, the former president of France and chancellor of Germany, they've both been on record, Merkel several times, saying that they used Minsk 1 and Minsk 2 as a diversion and
to buy time to arm Ukraine.
To arm Ukraine. This is all on record. So what is Zelensky talking about? I don't know. Anyway,
that's what I'm saying. That what he's talking about is it's your guys' fault.
Right.
Security guarantees, maybe President.
At the very least, you owe us security guarantees for doing this to us. Let's see what he says.
Strong army is enough because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our.
How's he going to respond? Let's see.
Today, you know, he knows that we have all the world knows that we have meeting. Yes, why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and etc. Ballistic. So he knows that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop.
Watch, he's going to be like, this is why we need to stop all this right now.
Yeah.
A man of peace like me is needed.
Sounds awful. Let's stop it.
We will do it, really.
Let's see what he says.
Security, when we speak about security guarantees, when the Europeans are ready for contingents, they need USA backstop. If there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from the.
You are deluded, my dear boy.
We don't want to divide alliance connection between the United States.
You live in an alternative universe.
Strongest ally and Europeans. And this is crucial. This is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So, air defense, really, we have big deficit with all these systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop, and will go further and further. He doesn't want. He hates us. You know, it's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation. He thinks, and he shared these thoughts. I think maybe with your team also. I don't know, but with all the Europeans, in media, officially and not, he always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, and such life.
We've been over this.
No,
you pointed this out. He's lying.
Doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us. And you are right, Mr. President. That's 2%. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia pay to rebuild Ukraine?
Mr. President, after these...
Which, you know, he doesn't explain any of that. Like, he doesn't explain why. Like, he not once there did he, like, he doesn't say, well, if we sit down and reach a deal with Putin, like Trump is telling him Putin is willing to make a deal. The Russians have always said that they're willing to talk. And the only people who have never said that they'd talk to Putin are the Europeans and this guy. And now Trump is saying, well, we've got all this deal worked out and we're setting the table for negotiations and stuff. And Zelensky is still holding the same old line that Putin's a madman when all the evidence suggests that he's willing to make a deal. So the whole argument doesn't make sense, and he doesn't explain why, right?
He's saying
none of them ever explain why.
He's saying what he's doing is he's redirecting the conversation back, because what Donald Trump keeps doing is he just keeps simply dismissing the security guarantees thing. So he's filibustering, taking the microphone for like I don't know, a minute or whatever it was there, saying no, security guarantees are not what you're saying, Mr. President. It's not some deal with some companies. It's a strong Ukrainian army. It is a United States that backstops, blah, blah, blah,
and,
blah, blah.
And that's my point. Like, Zelensky is still not getting that Trump has moved on, and he's still saying, hey, we just need more arms, more money, more stuff to throw at Russia. It's the same old plan A that we've been failing at for the last 3 years. But he never explains why Putin will take all of Europe. Like, I've never understood this argument from the Europeans.
It doesn't matter. It's supposed to be taken axiomatically as an article of faith. You take it axiomatically. If you believe in the NATO mission and that NATO is a peaceful alliance, the point of NATO was never to surround Russia. Are you kidding me? If you have to believe that, then you have to believe that. I think that's.
But like, do people actually believe that in this day?
Yes. They convince themselves of that because they literally choose to. They want to. They don't want it to be the other way.
I think that population of Europeans who believe that Russia's a threat is dwindling by the day. To be honest,
I think there's fewer and fewer of them. I think you're correct.
Yes.
I asked this question.
This is the rule. This is the rule of the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay.
What? So did he just say in the history of warfare, whoever starts the war has to pay for it? I don't think that's how it works. It's the loser usually ends up paying for it. But anyway, let's keep going.
This is a rule. Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets, what we have in Europe, about 300.
What did I say? I've always said this. They're stealing those assets. Those are gone.
United States also. We can do it. But
that's fine.
It's not enough. It's
not
enough.
And think about how fucked the Europeans are going to be from that. They did this thing, and all the Americans have to do is say, you know what, we're like actually all of a sudden really concerned about the way you really mistreated Russia's assets. This is a horrible things that have happened that you've done, that you've stolen. You have to pay that back. Oh, imagine. Oh my goodness, poor Europe. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's continue.
Wait 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know if you want to position yourself in the middle between Russia and Ukraine, or on the Ukraine's.
No, I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved, and it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up? One more question about U.S. troops in Europe. After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country. Yeah. Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland is.
These guys also on the next. I was like, okay, I know we're throwing Ukraine under the bus. Listen, are you committed to Poland? He's like, yes, you're good. I'm committed to Poland. Oh man, poor you.
Oh yeah, the Poles are great. The Poles are great. They're winners. Not like this loser next to me. Eh?
Yeah. This guy didn't try to start a fight with me. Are you kidding me? I'm going to show you. You are going to regret the day you ever opened your mouth and said anything except for Donald Trump is a genius. You know, you are going to rue the day. And this is what he's doing. This is the reckoning.
For NATO, as you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood, you know.
What about the Baltics?
The Baltics, it's a tough neighborhood too, but we're committed. We're going to be very committed, and we're committed.
Translation. Who?
I don't know, dude. No, I think
NATO has to step up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between, why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful, but we have put in far more than they have, and I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
please, go ahead.
Ask you about the agreement again today. What changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing?
We made a deal. So
what was the deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed.
Mr. President,
I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and we ended up making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, what and how do you envision a trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin?
I don't know, but well, they don't like each other. I can tell you that. They do not like each other. This is not a love match, and it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much, I'm going to be very nice, run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started. You can look at some of, I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now. They
Look, Zelensky is even like, oh my God, what do I even?
Now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it. But this should have never happened.
Let me just take this opportunity to remind the audience that I'm such a man of peace. Let me tell you about this. I've stopped wars. I've stopped so many wars. Stopped wars you never even heard of.
Countries you never heard of.
Yeah. Wars that don't even exist. Countries that don't even exist because I didn't even let
don't exist.
Because I didn't even allow it to happen. I don't know. It's like sitting there, like smiling. Yeah,
I use my massive brain to just will it away.
Yes, no. He's just such a man of tremendous peace. So basically he does not care. No shame. Let's go.
About sorry, just a second.
About
any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands that Ukraine, more than Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But at the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides will be at the will be at the negotiation table. Then, of course, United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important.
I want to point out that Zelensky said the Ukraine.
Yes, I noticed that too, but I thought I was the only one who picked up on it.
No.
We really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending line, and they have real life, and our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also, it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way, but first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been in the USSR, you know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to bring them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if we will not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit Ukraine, maybe Kiev or Odessa, which is going to be at the river with Black Sea?
It was my question.
Sorry.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa. But a lot of cities have been destroyed. A lot of cities that are not recognizable. There's not a building.
Hey, 1 sec, I gotta run downstairs, give my father-in-law his meds. He's not well, but I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Just keep running.
You want to keep going, all right?
No.
And a lot of things have
Mr. President, you have to come and to look. No. We have very good cities. Yes, a lot of things been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes closer to front line, children have to go to underground schools or online, but we live. Ukraine is fighting and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes. So.
Mr. President, one more. I mentioned Poland.
Please, go ahead.
When did you last speak with President Putin, and what did he say that?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal, and he'd like to see it end. That's all I do. That's what I do. My whole life, that's what I do is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess because this is a real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Starmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country's government arrests people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring American companies to censor Americans on his behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on some?
I'm just curious of what Zelensky's aide is saying to him right now, because they must be panicking, because some sort of aide would not go up to the president in the middle of a press conference to do this unless it was really important, right? So
don't make him mad. Whatever you do, do not say anything that will make him even more determined to humiliate the entire country.
Yeah.
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far. JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about that?
We have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of those, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made at Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one that what unites us with Europe, as much as anything else, is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
Mr. President.
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday, and I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens.
1 second, it'll BRB.
Vigorously, we have to. I do think that under the president's leadership,
I guess let it keep
we're gonna
playing.
find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Mr. President, on the deal, is there any other oil and gas component to the deal? Is it all critical?
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
And sir, is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is
No.
that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
Mr. President, I just wanted to ask you about, you just mentioned that you'd spoken to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call, not the one that you...
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay. And how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am. I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw his forces from those areas if there's U.S. interest?
Well, we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of...
What the arrogance of that reporter, as if Russia was just going to take whatever demand that America, like, what these reporters are half the problem. They're so ignorant of the realities that they ask stupid questions like that. But anyway,
they're engaged in narrative. They're engaged in narrative weaving and building reality. They're not engaged in describing reality as it is.
Yeah. So we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals if they are U.S. interests? Would that be Ukrainian
They'll
forces?
be protected. The agreement will protect them.
US
The agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement.
Right, but what if Russia tries to invade or there's Russian aggression in their spots?
I just told you, I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
You know, they ought to focus on CNN on survival, not asking me these ridiculous questions.
Hey, and anyway,
CNN's got such
you got
ratings, I don't
problems.
think they're going to survive. Let's go. Please, go.
You're irrelevant.
Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good.
Yeah.
And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message?
Here, I'll be back. I gotta run again. Sorry.
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good
right answer.
The world. I'm aligned with the world.
That's the right answer.
And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Yeah, so JD Vance just nailed it, and I hope that they follow through, not just on this, but diplomacy in other countries and other areas too, because it's a welcome change from what we've seen, I would say, the last 30 years, and in particular, the last 15. It's just been miserable here. So if America can get back to that, and the West for that matter, we're all going to be safer.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it, our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact.
This is what he's saying. That's what I was saying. His point is, you are the reason we are in this in the first place. You can't just dump us like this. Oh, yes, we can.
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire.
What a strange thing to say. Like, and I think what he just said is very telling, because it just reinforces the mentality of NATO and the Europeans. He just said, we signed this deal with the with the Russians in 2019, and as soon as we did, I was told by Merkel, and I think he said Macron, that Putin wouldn't honor it. Now, Putin, there was no evidence that he wouldn't, but that's the mentality. They were going to break it all along anyway, right? And Merkel confirmed that after.
He can't say it, but he keeps bringing that back up. He keeps saying France and Germany and we had a thing figured out. You came along. You made us turn our back on this deal. Now you are telling me to go F myself. He's not saying it, but he keeps bringing it up. It's like he keeps circling around it, you know?
He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners.
And Trump says, it's not my problem. He always finds just different ways of saying that.
We signed the exchange of prisoners.
You're
but
muted.
He didn't do it. What?
I say, look at Trump's body language as he's saying this. Trump couldn't care less.
Yep. That's his whole punch. That's not my problem.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come?
He's profoundly unprepared to ask this question. He's improvising a little bit. He's stepping out of his line.
Look, he's folding his arms. He's getting defensive.
I think he sees an opportunity to do that. I think that's what it is. Maybe he's just like, oh, I can jump on him and strip him of the sympathy, because a lot of the Ukrainian war effort has, unfortunately for Zelensky, he's been the figurehead.
Come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not
Don't-
get the war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling.
He's putting him in his place. See, he sees that he's defensive. He's like, dude, he's speaking to me in the imperative. Listen, I'm telling you right now,
and
little
now,
boy, don't
now
tell me.
Trump's at the end of his fuse with this guy, right? You can tell. Trump is at the end of his rope. Whatever diplomacy, whatever chivalry was going on, that's going to end real quick.
No, dude, JD Vance set him up. Let's see the whole defensive thing, and Donald Trump is going for the kill.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're
Again,
in no position
I'm putting in your
to
place.
dictate what we're going to feel.
Let me tell
We're
you.
going to feel very
You will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very good.
We're gonna feel
very
great.
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and
of
he
the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of
Oh,
the
man.
war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
I
You
was
don't have
in
the
it.
cards right now. With us, you start having
Not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
Oh.
Have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Yes.
You think that
Saving your
speak
country.
very loudly about the war. You
He's
can
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country is
Can I-
in big trouble.
Can I
No,
ask- can
you've
I
done a
ask-
lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not.
He's not the crazy one. You're the crazy one. Listen, it's time for you to
Damn
listen.
good chance of
We are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
I told you he was going to lose it.
And you men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about West?
Who did he call a stupid president? He called Biden a stupid president?
Yes.
Okay, at least it was Biden. Didn't call
But
Zelensky stupid
now
to
the
his
gloves
face.
are off. It's time to mop this guy up and kick him out.
You didn't have our military equipment.
You invited
If
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over.
See, Zelensky is also a narcissist, so he also knows how to play this game, this manipulation game. He's trying to do his thing, but you can't measure up to Donald Trump. You can't. He's king narcissist.
In 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
This guy's a crazy one. You all saw he's a crazy one. How am I gonna supposed to do business with this guy?
And let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going.
It's a good thing that we can see how crazy he is, right? Because I mean,
You don't have the card.
listen, boy.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a
But
ceasefire.
I said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire.
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
We saw this already.
It doesn't matter for you what.
That
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
with
just-
me.
It
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden.
Should we skip the rest of this?
Smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
Well,
that was with
a couple
Obama.
more
It
minutes.
was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact,
We can skip the rest of it.
Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be. I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you
Oh, look at
make a
Zelensky's
deal
face. Oh
or
my
we're
gosh,
out.
dude.
And if we're out,
Look at his face.
you'll fight it out.
See, why did you do this? You did this already one time to him. You already had this fight with Donald Trump. How did that turn out? It did not turn out well. You all of a sudden are going to try to do this again live on TV. Yes, look at that face. That is the face of deep regret. Like, why did I do this? What was I thinking? that this is
Well, that's the face that somebody who he knows he's been played, he knows he's not getting anything else, he knows the grift is over, he knows he's going to be painted with a really
I think
bad brush.
this is the face of somebody who is feeling a public humiliation and he's planning his revenge. Like, I'm going to go suck up to the Europeans. I'm about to go and I'm going to make the ultimate rare earth deal. I'm going to give him 100% of the rare earths, and I'm going to say, you're going to just give me, your Rafales and all the MiG-29s that are left and all of the tanks that you guys can muster, and I'm going to get something out of this. Anything. This is he's planning this because this is personal now between them. This is a dick measuring contest.
I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't.
Okay, let's keep running.
Trump's hands are pretty small. That's over. So that was it.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Holy crap.
So shortly after that, apparently Zelensky was asked to leave the White House. He was kicked out of the White House. And to add insult to injury, the lunch that they had, apparently Trump gave Zelensky's lunch to one of his staffers.
Wow. Dude, so I'm really interested about the interaction with JD Vance in particular, because JD Vance, he came out there and he kind of, when he was saying you're being disrespectful, I think he was being right. He's being like, yo, dude, you're doing this. I'm talking out of turn, and I get to play the hurt, eternal victim of Europe, and you're taking that everywhere, and you're taking that here right now, and and this is not the place. This is not the venue for that act. And Zelensky's like, listen, I've dropped the act once. I'm not needed anymore. Basically, this is me doing what I need to do for my country. You're asking me about my country. I'm doing what's needed, and this is why you need to give me security guarantees. And Donald Trump just is like, do I have a good answer for that? I don't need a good answer for that. I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about how I won the election all along. This is a great opportunity for me to talk about how I am actually as good as George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. In fact, somebody else asked a question and he brought it up again. He's like, you know what? I've been kind of now, ever since I answered the question the first time, since that time till now, I've been actually thinking a lot about this, thinking deeply about this very important question. And I've been thinking, really, maybe I'm really up there with, George Washington. I really think that's probably a good place for it, because I'm just worried about my country. I'm just concerned, and who's not concerned about their country is Zelensky over here. This guy right here.
I'm a man of peace. I love peace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I love it.
I'm the biggest fan of peace.
I love it when he changed his the subject to Israel. Just out of nowhere,
just arbitrarily, right?
Just like, what, Zelensky, Ukraine is actually kind of passe. After all, we all know that it's winding down, and the next sites that a great man of peace such as myself, has his eyes on is, solving Palestine. And my solution to Palestine is, I'm buying it. I'm buying all of it. That Gaza Strip. But anyway, should we do our 2 scoops, because we're running a little? You're muted.
I guess the takeaway for me after this train wreck of a press
that was
conference,
shocking to watch.
Yeah, the war's over. It's going to wrap up really quickly now because they don't have any funding. They don't have any weapons. What we're going to see, and I think we chatted about this before, the phases of grief.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think right now, the Europeans.
Zelensky's in the bargaining stage. I'm going to make a deal with the Europeans.
They were in the bargaining phase, and that's why Macron and Starmer and all these losers came over. They were still hoping to bargain and come to some sort of way to keep the Americans in Europe. What we're going to see over the next couple of days, over this weekend, you're going to see a lot more. They're going to go from bargaining back to anger shortly, and then they're going to hop back to depression. And then late or sometime, I'm guessing early next week,
oscillating between the.
yeah, you're going to see a lot of articles. Some people will still be angry, but you're going to see a lot more introspective articles about, what does this mean for Europe? How could Europe be so stupid? Blah, blah, blah. And then after that, you're going to see acceptance. So I think you're going to see this thing wrap up pretty quickly because they don't have the capital, they don't have the weapons, they don't have the will, and they don't have the backer clearly.
I love
So
it when they
gotta
talk
invest.
to the people from the dude from Poland. He was already like, "Yeah, we already know this is over." It's like, "Hey, listen. So what about Poland? You're not gonna like throw us under the bus too." Not like, "I love Poland. They got a complicated history. Would never do that." What about the Baltic states? Ooh, Baltic states. Let's see. I've been looking up how like I really feel like they need to be spending like way more money on our arms, because I look at them and they're like in the front line and like they're always complaining and like they better do something about their own defense here.
NATO's
like
done now, man.
yeah, just
After
basically.
that,
But yeah, right. So basically, and he did that, right? And then and they did a couple. They tried to get a couple of. They tried to shoehorn him into a couple of like kind of gotchas and into a couple of awkward situations. He had none of it. He just excellently just like absolutely blasted through those with ease. Didn't care. Turned some of their own like mind control techniques around on them. Just the word techniques. Be like, what? Actually, I thought you were a normal person, but obviously, what am I supposed to expect? That's what I have to explain to everybody that's kind of like dumb like you. It's like basically doing that kind of stuff. So he had a playful time. JD Vance, it looked to me like he was almost like a little bit of like a apprentice, like little squire, like trying to get his digs in, try to do something. Zelensky didn't
Vance did a good
expect him.
job.
I think so. I think he was pretty clumsy. He didn't really know how to do it. He ended up he went all over.
Vance was fluid.
He went off.
Talked down to him.
Yes, okay. So body language wise, how he threw Zelensky off, he buttered him up for Trump to really come into there. It climaxed right at the end where Trump was just like, like, how am I supposed to make a deal with somebody like this? Are you guys seeing this? Vance, you're right. Does suck that we have to deal with the crazy person in the room. But, at least the good part is, like almost talking past the president of Ukraine, who just sat there for like an hour and said, listen, we started the war because of you. You guys got this, screwed us over. You can't just dump us like this. And Trump's like, we spend so much money. And these other guys, they better get their contributions up to where our contributions are. But, for us, we're already getting our contributions done because, what, I'm going to solve this war. I'm already in the process of solving this war. We're making peace. It's very sad, what you've done. You're totally not legitimate. He went there. He went all over the place. He raffle stomped him. This was a class act, and Zelensky tried to, at the very end, he tried to get some kicks back. He just saw what kind of a disaster it was. There's like already nothing's to salvage, and he was just like, okay, he's been humiliating me for like in publicly, I've been even Vance, who I try to act like, okay, but you guys are the adults in the room. Can I at least talk to you guys? No, you guys are coming in and you guys are jumping in on it as well, making him all like defensive and stuff like that. The guy freaking felt naked sitting there in that chair.
So I think
he kept trying to go.
Go ahead.
Oh, he kept trying to change to bring back the security guarantees. He had his prof to bring this out to be like, look how Russia bad, security guarantees. None of it was Donald Trump having. Did not care. And even he went like so far as to like filibuster for a second and talk about this is why we really need to discuss security guarantees now, not later. And my security guarantees, I'm telling you, I have some crazy ass ideas about what I need as security guarantees. I want technology sharing with your guys' stuff. You guys can have like our, like little mob pop workshop drone techs, and we'll have like Euro Patriot missiles defenses, and then I also want the United States to backstop France and England as he has going off on this thing, and Donald Trump's just like, oh yeah, you think I have to respond to that? You think who do you take me for? Do you think I actually have to respond to the nonsense that just came out of your mouth? Let me tell you about what kind of a man of peace I am again.
So I think, just to put a bow on this whole thing, what we just watched was historic, right? This is something that will be in history books or history chips or whatever exists in hundreds of years, right? Like this was a very historic press conference when you put it in the context of the shifts that are going on in the world right now. So yeah, guys, we just watched some history, and I think Europe is forever changed. Speaking of Europe, let's get to our two scoops.
That's right.
This is our new Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, explaining to terrified German school children the dangers of Vladimir Putin.
Yep.
Now,
the boogeyman. It's crazy, man. They made Putin legendary. He never would have been such a boogeyman. It would have just been like a little bit of an odd dude that rides around on a horse shirtless and was a judo, master of sports in judo, so basically like a black belt or whatever. Okay, apparently he's actually good. Let's see, is this the one?
Raketen auf die Ukraine. Angst vor Putin zu haben, ist der schlechteste Ratgeber. Dieser Krieg wird nur zu Ende gehen, wenn wir Putin klar sagen, du hast keine Chance, diesen Krieg militärisch zu gewinnen. Der beste Fall ist, dass alle anderen um uns herum sagen, die sind so stark, die greifen wir besser mal nicht an. Und damit sichern wir unseren Frieden. Mit Raketen auf die Ukraine. Angst vor Putin zu haben, ist der schlechteste Ratgeber. Dieser Krieg wird nur zu Ende gehen, wenn wir Putin klar sagen, du hast keine Chance, diesen Krieg militärisch zu gewinnen. Der beste Fall ist, dass alle anderen um uns herum sagen, die sind so stark, die greifen wir besser mal nicht an.
Okay, I just got to ask a question. If you're German, why are you so weird? Because who talks to children this way?
No. It's these guys that are so weird. This is who. If you're like ever wondering, like, who the hell would take this job? Who would sell out completely? Like, who'd pull a Dan Crenshaw? Like, you were a Navy SEAL ready to die for your country. Now you're not ready to even like do what obviously you know is right to just for your career and for like a couple of extra $100,000 or whatever, like where do they find these cretins? And this is what they look like. This is who they are. They're not normal people. They don't know how to speak to us normal people. That's why they are not normal people. They're trying to be like, yes, I can be like, yes, fellow humans, I can just like you also tell you about how do not be afraid of Putin. I'm trying to scare the hell out of you, first of all. I'm trying to tell you that Putin is the new boogeyman, right? But I don't get this right at the end. I feel like, is this taken out of context, right? Because he says, to win this war militarily, right? Well, let's go a little bit before.
Diesen Krieg militärisch zu gewinnen. Der beste Fall ist, dass
so he says you have no chance to win this war militarily, really? When we tell Putin clearly,
du hast keine Chance, diesen Krieg militärisch zu gewinnen. Der beste Fall ist, dass alle anderen um uns herum sagen, die sind so stark, die greifen wir besser mal.
See,
that's what it seems like. I'm just having a hard time exactly understanding what he means there. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
The first or the second one?
He's irrelevant, Brad. The one with Maupin.
There's two of them. There's two ones with Maupin. First or second?
The one with his actual, the white guy, yeah.
See behind me, the Ukrainian propaganda networks are gathering the crowd around them to make it look like they have a big crowd of supporters out here. They don't actually have a huge crowd of supporters, but Ukrainian television is just basically propaganda. They're huddling a bunch of people around the camera to give the impression there's a bunch of Ukrainians out here. There's not. In fact, there's a man here who disagrees with them, who's giving them the business. It's kind of amazing. The Ukrainian television is just blatantly propaganda. I mean, they're just huddled around the reporter. It's completely fake.
Play the guy. I thought the guy was great.
This one?
And then too, how come you ain't over there in Ukraine? But you over here where it's safe. So you won't go over there and do that, talk all that talk, but you'll come to America and do that. So why don't you go over to Ukraine and make it better? You're scared to do that. Man, hey, dude, take that energy somewhere else. This is America, man. You can't tell me what to do. I live here. How you think you're gonna tell me what to do? How long you been here? Nobody want. I want to hear it. I got the right to say it, whether you want to hear it or not. Okay, so go on, man. Go ahead on, dude. You barking up the right tree. I'm not barking. You barking up the right tree. You barking up the right tree. I got to tell. I can protest. I'm protesting against Ukraine because I think it's time to put America first. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think all this money we sending to Ukraine, we need to put that to some of the needs of Americans.
Yep.
That's what we need to do. Because we done gave them over $200 billion. How much more do they need?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Over $200 billion, and a lot of that ain't even accounted for. How much more can we give Ukraine? Okay? I mean, seriously. So you know, y'all coming out here talking about stand with America.
That's right.
All right? Get the police officers and the teachers a raise.
That's right.
Okay? Help the people down there from Hurricane Helene in North Carolina that's still suffering. Why don't you send some money to them? You know, you got Ukrainians getting Social Security. We paying pensions in Ukraine. We paying Social Security benefits to Ukrainians that they didn't even earn. And Americans are suffering. Something wrong with that picture, man.
Oh my gosh,
You know,
that's it's hard to watch that. But yeah.
Full credit to that gentleman. He hit the nail on the head, and props to him for going out.
Donald Trump contributed that language to our political discourse. Now spend that money here. So now that's the new way to say it.
And you know what? We need more people out on the streets like that gentleman protesting about stuff. Not just this, just stuff in general. Like, we got to get back to.
Well, that's in DC, right? I think Maupin is somewhere in DC. So if you're living there, I'm sure you got some professional protesters that live there.
But my point is, freedom of speech has been stifled greatly in the last 5 to 10 years. And that's what Vance was saying. That's what Trump was saying. That's what they took Sturmer to the woodshed over. And what I'm saying is, each and every one of us, if you appreciate having freedom of speech, you need to use it. And that's why I really appreciated seeing that gentleman sit down and
exercise that right.
Guys the ears. Exercise the right, or you lose it. End of story. So good on him.
All right, man. Well, we've gone pretty long on this one, so I guess we probably got to wrap it up. I got so much I want to say about that, but I guess we'll have to. I guess we're gonna have to do it for another time. But anyway,
like I said, the next week is going to be great. You guys this weekend, get into all those angry articles, because you're going to read a lot of them, and then watch them go to despair. It's going to be very, oh my God, what does this mean for Europe? And why were we duped? And what do we need to do? And it's going to be so pathetic. Oh my God, because the Euro men, no offense, Euro men, but not kind of something in the testosterone over there, I think. But y'all got to man up now and figure your countries out, not the EU. Notice I said figure your countries out, because the EU is going by the wayside too.
All right, I guess that is our episode number. I'm not going to even say because I don't know for sure, but okay.
God, we are bad at this. Okay, everybody, thank you.
Peace.